Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Market Research and Comparative Analysis, chapter number 6, and this is part 2. In this part, the learning objectives are: understand the theoretical context guiding the collection of comparator data, know what kind of data need to be collected on competitors and likely sources of these data, understand the effect of current trends on comparative information collection, obtain practice in performing comparative analysis in a business-to-business setting. Practical advice for performing market research in B2B markets. Here are some of the problems of doing market research in business-to-business markets in today's turbulent environment. However, nothing has been said so far about how to address these problems. Here is a key list of the problems. Here is a list of the key problems that must be overcome. Number one, there are small number of prospective customers within many business markets. Size, complexity, and informality of buying center, unpredictability of buying center interactions, technical or complex nature of products in many business markets, short time horizon for making decisions, lack of time for respondents to participate, hidden uncertainty about market dynamics. ये वो सारे प्रॉब्लम्स हैं जो B2B मार्केट के अंदर एक रिसर्च करने वाले मार्केटर को कंसिडर करने हैं, सामने रखने हैं. स्मॉल नंबर ऑफ पर्सपेक्टिव कस्टमर्स विद इन मैनी बिजनेस मार्केट्स. क्यों कि जो बिजनेस मार्केट है इसमें आपके बायर्स जो हैं उनका नंबर स्मॉल हो सकता है. फिर बाइंग सेंटर जो है वो कॉम्प्लेक्स हो सकते हैं, उनके साइज वेरी कर सकते हैं क्रॉस द ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस. बाइंग सेंटर की जो इंट्रैक्शंस हैं अपने सेलर्स के साथ जो है वो अनप्रेडिक्टेबल हैं. टेक्निकल और कॉम्प्लेक्स नेचर ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स इन मैनी बिजनेस मार्केट्स. बिजनेस मार्केट के अंदर प्रोडक्ट्स हैं ही टेक्निकल और कॉम्प्लेक्स हैं, उनको समझना हर किसी के लिए आसान नहीं है. शॉर्ट टाइम होराइजन फॉर मेकिंग डिसीजन. ऑब्वियसली जो रिसर्चर है उसके लिए टाइम बहुत शॉर्ट होता है कि उसने डिसाइड करना है जिस भी प्रॉब्लम के ऊपर रिसर्च कर रहा है. लेक ऑफ टाइम फॉर रिस्पॉन्डेंट्स टू पार्टिसिपेट. और जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं रिसर्च के अंदर जिन्होंने आना है उनके पास भी टाइम की कमी होती है. तो ये सारे प्रॉब्लम जो हैं ये अनसर्टेनिटी को बढ़ा देते हैं. इस वजह से इन प्रॉब्लम्स को सामने रखते हुए रिसर्च को कंडक्ट किया जाना चाहिए. Practical advice for performing market research in B2B markets. We have already discussed the problems that a marketer is going to face, but here are some tactics, or here are some suggestions that a marketer can use. Market can use to make the research effective. Conducting personal interviews, addressing the tougher issues, appropriate use of survey in B2B markets, managing uncertainty, minimize impact of time compression, interaction of the buying center. I will explain one by one all these factors. Let's discuss the conducting personal interviews. Personal interviews are appropriate in many circumstances in B2B markets. Why? Because personal interviews are appropriate in these circumstances if the research is more exploratory than conclusive. The questions should tend to be open-ended. Such questions allow the respondents to give the questioner the benefit of their wisdom and insight. If research is more toward the conclusive side, the questions should be designed more with multiple choice answers. To get more insight, the researcher marketer can then give respondents a chance to explain their answers. So it's obvious if the research is exploratory or conclusive, the researcher should design the personal interview in accordance, in consideration of the research design. Addressing the tougher issues. So here are some suggestions that a researcher has to address these issues. Obtain market research data from all the relatively few customers that exist in oligopolistic market. Obtain information across the buying center. Obtain data more quickly. and avoid much of the problem with response time compression. So one can put these three questions to clarify the situation. Number one, what methods are most effective in markets that are less concentrated yet where more customers exist? Number two, what steps can you take to reduce uncertainty? And number three, what can you do about anticipating the interactions within the buying center? Appropriate use of surveys in B2B markets. A survey administered by mail or online questionnaire can be an efficient way to gather the appropriate information from a sample that will generalize to the whole market. With appropriate survey construction, this can be done more quickly than collecting the same data through personal interviews, and analysis of the data will leave less room for interpretive mistakes. Providing incentives for participation is one approach to obtain respondent participation. Recently, researchers have turned to charitable donations made in the respondent's name as an incentive. जैसा कि आपको पता है कि B2B मार्केट में पॉसिबल नहीं है कि आप इंसेंटिव उनको पैसों की शक्ल में दें, तो रिसर्चर्स ने एक तरीकाकार ढूंढा कि उनकी पार्टिसिपेशन बढ़ाने के लिए उनके बिहाफ पर जो रिस्पोंडेंट्स होंगे, रिस्पोंडेंट्स के बिहाफ पर वो कोई डोनेशन जो है वो कर दें। तो ये एक इंसेंटिव है जिसकी वजह से B2B मार्केट के अंदर रिस्पोंडेंट्स जो हैं वो पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं, वो मोटिवेट हो सकते हैं पार्टिसिपेशन के लिए सर्वे में। Managing uncertainty. This is the most difficult task. Managing hidden uncertainty remains a concern, and it is not an easy task. Often the answer lies not in better research but in strategy design that maintains flexibility and that have data collection and interpretation spell out as strategy elements. So at the start of the strategy design, researchers need to be very much concerned about how to manage the uncertainty. Therefore, care must be given to research design to obtain information that is more useful for peering in the murky future. Minimize impact of time compression. The issue of time compression is already discussed, but it can be minimized through the use of market research companies that use respondent panels. Some national and international research companies recruit thousands of respondents to serve as respondent pool panels. When a project comes along, a sample is selected from the pool to reflect the population that needs to be represented. These people receive the questionnaire and generally return it in a timely manner or with a low refusal rate. When this process is managed over the web, the speed and quality of the data are stunning. Results and data interpretation can be obtained within days or even hours. In a world where decisions must be made quickly, have real data from which to work instead of questionable assumptions can give better plans and better outcomes. Interaction of the buying center. Interaction of the buying center. The problem of the buying center interaction must be taken into consideration. Research on the outcome of past interaction may shed light on possible future outcomes. In other cases, the marketer will have to address the uncertainty caused by such possible interaction as simply another source of uncertainty. All the more reason to create strong relationships with all elements of the buying center. Competitive analysis. Customer analysis is the place to start when doing an analysis of the business environment. The researcher has to know the nature of competition. Competition provides superior value to the targeted customers. Markets seldom favor reach an equilibrium. Rather, markets strive for equilibrium, particularly after periods of rapid growth, but are routinely offset by the innovation process. There are 6 sources of competition, such as existing direct competition, competition from channel, competition from upstream suppliers, competition from new entrants, and competition from substitutes. In competitive analysis, there is a need for the information to collect on individual competitors. This information about individual competitors can be competitors' goal, information about competitor strategies, information about competitor capabilities, information about competitor assumptions, information about competitors' future action and reactions reduce uncertainty. In particular, the marketers wants to identify threats and opportunities that emerge due to competitors' perceptions and activities. Let's look into competitors' goals. Goals, of course, refer to the levels of performance the competitor wants to achieve. Often the competitor has a desired market position it wishes to obtain. For example, dominance or largest market share. The marketer shouldn't assume the competitor always wants to achieve the market leadership or dominance, though large companies are often satisfied with merely being a major player in the market. Next one is competitor strategies. Strategies are the means that competitor uses to achieve its goals. We can cast these in terms of target segment, desired responses in the marketplace, value offered, marketing mix employed, core competencies employed, and core competencies being required. This is the crux of marketers' understanding of how the competitor will behave and react. Next one is competitor capabilities. Capabilities are the resources, both financial and organizational, that can be brought to bear in pursuit of the competitor strategies. A good reading of the competitor's financial statements may give clue to its future ability to fund major initiatives. It is also important to understand the competitor's culture and core competencies. Such issues is how flexible the competitor's organization is, how creative it is in designing new strategies, and how effective it is in implementation of O. Give the marketer a sense of competitors' tendencies and limitation. The next one is competitor assumption. How a competitor views a market, the assumptions that have been made is the most difficult dimension of the competitive information to access. Executives of competitors have mental models of how their markets work. These models drive their choice of strategies and tactics. Seldom do competitors state their assumptions outside of internal business plans. Although today more companies are publishing their views of the market mechanics on the web, sometimes a CEO or other company executive explain her vision of the market in an article or interview for the trade or business press, or she will give representation at a conference or trade show. More often, the market must infer a competitor's assumptions from behavior of the competitor. In competitive analysis, let's look at the sources of competitive information. The sources of competitive information are the customer, the internet, business and trade press, trade shows, and other sources. Let's look into these sources one by one. The customer. The first source of competitive information was suggested earlier, is the end-use buyer. Customer and prospective customers can give anecdotal data on all the four dimensions of the competitive information: goals, strategies, capabilities, and assumptions. However, customer perceptions of a competitor's capability may be somewhat myopic. The best way to acquire the data for a customer is through normal cultivation of individual context. In the course of other discussion, the marketer can ask about comparisons between the market's offering and competitors' offering. The second one is internet. The obvious new source of competitive information is the web. Most companies now have websites, even if these are only online brochures, websites with basic information and little else. Competitors own websites make it possible to quickly find information about all four dimensions of competitor analysis. Business and trade press. A third good source of competitive information is the business and trade press. The business press includes articles written about a wide range of industries. The trade press sticks closely to one industry or set of related industries. Articles based on interviews and analysis, interpretation can give insight into all the four dimensions of competitive analysis. In addition, the press can provide a history of past events or actions, which may also shed light on the competitors' tendencies. The next one is trade shows. Trade shows, a fourth source, can also provide a great deal of information to markets. The trade show has booths and displays for many companies of note within an industry. The importance of a competitor's product line relative to its other offerings may be obvious in the emphasis placed on it. The competitor's display is a view of how the competitor perceives the needs of the market, what assumptions it is making about the market. The marketer or another person operating on the market's behalf can make the rounds and get a close look at a current products and program. And there are some other sources. What are those other sources? Other sources also provide insights into the four dimensions of comparative analysis. Many of them can be seen as outward indicators of trends and facts that lie beneath the visible surface. The business-to-business marketer may watch competitors' advertisement and publicity announcements. Classified advertising have to do with employment or real estate may have also indicated changes in resource development that are a result of a change in strategic orientation. Thank you. That's all for this session. Thank you very much.